Hi, it's Chris with Implied Music. There's a starman waiting in the sky. He'd like to come and meet us, but he thinks he'd blow our minds. That starman was David Bowie. He passed in 2016, but today is his birthday, and it's something that I observe every year. I thought we'd take a look at Space Oddity, one of his hits from '69. And it embodies something that's really true about his work that we'll talk about later, but he's a character actor. He's telling a story based on a personality, and the music tells the story in a beautiful way. Well, he uses some clever chord tricks that we've talked about really in the past month to do that job. Let's jump in. I just said it, but I'll say it again. Bowie was writing theater pieces. Every song is a little theatrical presentation. A character, a setting, a place. Space Oddity is like that. And he uses a couple of fascinating sort of harmonic and chordal devices, as well as some clever melodic tricks to make that work. Let's just pick it apart. Okay, I'm working from the score, but I won't show it to you guys. But he begins the piece in C major, but the first chord is F major 7. This beautiful, elegant sound to E minor. It's sort of unsettled, but we hear the C as the center because this is the only two places in the major scale where a major 7 has a minor just below it. So we're already hearing the key of C. Smart, right? It's just the introduction. And then we come to the melody, and of course, when you get to the melody, we get the C. And the C goes to the E minor. Well, it's kind of dark, isn't it? And then I love this moment. I'm going to play it up higher so you can hear it a little bit better. That was A minor over G, D over F sharp. So you get this dark motion, right? Fascinating. Well, it goes on, and really it's a repetition, isn't it? Ground control to major tom. I love that minor. Oh, it's so pretty. That's again C to E minor, and then that same thing that we just did. And here, oh, this gorgeous sort of bass line ascent, and there's this gorgeous fifth mode of the melodic minor dominant sound, which transitions us in. Look at this. So, right? Ooh, spooky. This sort of spooky, strange chord that just hangs out in there. I just love it. And remember, we were kind of dark before. We were saying C to E minor. Well, now we're off to the races with really kind of the same chord progression that we looked at last week. The chord progression from Happier Than Ever, the chord progression from Creep, which is 1, major 3, 4, minor 4. That's what happens next. And it's a powerful emotional chord set, right? This is ground control to major tom, right? That beautiful major sound. You've really made the grade. And then that's an F. And then the papers want to know whose shirts you wear. That's the F chord again, minor. Oh, it's time to leave the capsule if you dare. I love that minor, major, major thing, right? Oh, gorgeous. Well, he goes on, and now sort of we're in Act 3. And now we're hearing major tom's voice. It's that same chord progression, right? That F against the C, this is major tom. Tom is on the 4th. And then when we go to the 7th of the scale, we get the E. Every melodic tone so far has been diatonic, but we've had these really unique harmonizations. And then F major, I'm floating in a most peculiar way. It's the same chord progression that ground control has been using up to now, and the stars look very different today. There's that little bluesy moment there. So going into the sort of dark central portion of the tune, we begin to sense that our character is having a little bit of a breakdown, and we have this lovely moment where the melody starts on the major 7 of the F chord. It's kind of like the beginning again. It's like the introduction. So here am I. Well, let's look at it. For here am I sitting in a tin can, right? That's F to E minor again. It happens again. Far above the world. And suddenly a surprising chord, B flat major. And we're heading down to F. So in a way, it almost feels like we're sort of in a new world. We're in a rock and roll world here. Planet Earth. Right down B flat, A, G major, which is really sexy and fun there, to the F. Okay, so now we're heading to the transition to that sort of spacey solo, which we're not going to break down. But I love what happens in these big bar chords. I think this moment really feels kind of, it takes me back in a way to sort of that Ziggy Stardust big bar chord sound. It's the, it's the Ronson electric guitar thing. But we go C, F, F, G, A, right? And that's they're all major chords, just all major triads. And then the solo is built around the sounds of the chords from the introduction. There's the F major 7, the E minor 7, and we have these sort of ninth chords, the A9, C sus4, sort of, beautiful kind of floaty chords. They're jazz chords, and we see jazz chords in tunes like Changes as well. Well, going forward, where we're back to the major tom world, and we're back to that emotional chord progression. You remember what it is: 1, major 3, 4, minor 4, and that's what happens next, right? Though I've passed 100,000 miles, I'm feeling very still, and I think my spaceship knows which way to go. I just think it's so beautiful what happens there. And then this gorgeous, like sense of loss, the way I tell my wife I love her very much. She knows, oh my God, it's crazy. And then, of course, ground control starts going nuts on him. And this is harking back to the very chord progression that we heard at the beginning of the tune, right? So F goes down to E flat 9, walking down A minor, G, F sharp over, F sharp in the bass, D over F sharp. Can you hear me, major tom? We're back to C. And you know what? That's a C chord with a D on top. And then, we go back to the beginning for Here Am I. It finally repeats and ends on, at the end, this kind of gorgeous looping E major. In other words, kind of a strange and spatial world that we haven't been in before. Well, it's a epic, isn't it? And it's a carefully constructed epic with sort of, I think of as 3 strong sections. The ground control section, Major Tom's voice, and then the sort of central dark, sort of almost like buoyant sense of being lost in the sky, lost in space. very few people have done it better. It's rock music for sure, but it's rock music about character. It's rock music about a story. And that story, I think, is what engaged Bowie's listeners and what kept us coming back. Every one of his albums um, personify a character. If you think about all these different people, there's Ziggy, there's the Thin White Duke. I mean, there are several, aren't there? Kind of an elder statesman of rock. And one of my pop music or rock music heroes. Well, I hope this has been useful. As always, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.